So, hi, welcome to the lecture on advanced electrical drives. So, in the earlier last class, I think I already explained about vector control of induction motor drive and direct arc control of induction motor drive. And now I concluded the direct arc control of induction motor drive in the last lecture. And if you compare the vector control and direct arc control, so the direct arc control of induction motor drive will give more than 25% of highest torque response. And the coordination, if you see in case of vector control of induction motor drive, the DQ coupled, the coordination from synchronously rotating reference frame to the stationary reference frame, that will be absent in your direct arc control of induction motor drive. Okay, so this is I already explained with respect to the vector control of induction motor, that is rotor oriented vector control, and air gap flux vector control I explained. And with respect to the direct arc control of induction motor drive, what is the different, how you are getting the torque directly controlled, how you are controlling the decoupling nature of the torque control, how you are doing. So with respect to the similar to the DC motor analysis also I explained. And in the similar model, so like we have to another model, so that is synchronous model. So now we will discuss about the next module. So this is module 3 in our syllabus. So today I would like to explain and discuss about control of synchronous motor. The next topic is, so I would like to explain about the control of synchronous motor. So synchronous motors are widely used for high power applications. So this can be used for high power applications. So this is widely used for high power applications, and especially if you ask about the rating higher than 1 megawatt, 1 megawatt of power. So I think you already the prerequisites for this today's topic is electrical missions, that is electrical missions 2, the constructional details of your induction motor, synchronous motor, and control mechanisms, your powertronic control device. So these are the prerequisites to get the knowledge about synchronous motor drive, control of synchronous motor drive. So how we need to control synchronous motor drive? If you discuss about this, the control of synchronous motor drive can be mainly obtained, it is mainly possible with respect to the true synchronous mode control. So there's basically two types of synchronous control modes. The first one is, for example, if I will discuss about this, the first concept is true synchronous model, and second one is separate synchronous model, that is self synchronous model. So two models are presented to control your synchronous motor. So the first one is true synchronous model, and second one is self synchronous model. So first I would like to explain about true synchronous model. So what type of mechanism is there in case of true synchronous model? So this true synchronous model is mainly applicable for fixed speed applications. So this is possible for fixed speed applications. applications. So it is suitable for fixed speed applications. And here, as the speed is fixed one, so as you know that the synchronous speed ns is equal to 120 f by p. So the supply frequency is also constant. Supply frequency is constant. Frequency is constant. In case of true synchronous speed model, it is mainly suitable for fixed speed application. It is not suitable for variable speed application. It is suitable for fixed speed application. And here, as the speed is fixed one, so the frequency is also constant. In this case, the frequency is constant. And this drive is not suitable for variable speed applications. So the true synchronous model is not suitable for the variable speed application. Okay, so first I would like to discuss about true synchronous model. Then after that we will discuss about the self-synchronous model. So the self-synchronous model, if you talk about the self-synchronous model, so this is for variable speed application. So we will concentrate on true synchronous model. Okay, so then I will explain self-control also. So in true synchronous model, the motor is supplied from a voltage source. The motor is supplied from a voltage source. Okay, a voltage source of independent frequency, because as I told you, the frequency is constant. So in case of true synchronous model, the motor is supplied from a voltage source of independent frequency. So this is the major point. So the true synchronous model is supplied from a voltage source. It is supplied from a voltage source and independent of frequency. So there will be some drawback here. So the main drawback for this case is, in true synchronous model, drawback is the synchronous speed is not matched with the rotor speed. Synchronous speed is not matched with the rotor speed. So here this is important. So if you talk about the synchronous model construction, synchronous machine construction, the synchronous speed omega E, okay, is not matched with the rotor speed omega R. So these two are not equal. Okay, these two are not equal. So when these two are not equal, definitely there should be some hunting. The hunting phenomena is occurring. There should be some vibrations or some transient response. The transients are coming present in the synchronous motor. Please try to understand here. If the synchronous speed is not matched with the rotor speed, so definitely there should be some hunting is existing in the motor. Hunting phenomena is existing in the motor. And there should be some instability. Because of that instability, the transients will present in the motor, synchronous motor. So the main problem with respect to the true synchronous model is, because in the true synchronous motor is supplied from a voltage source of an independent frequency. Okay, and this is also suitable for the fixed speed applications. Okay, and as the fixed speed applications, your synchronous speed is not matched with the rotor speed. Whenever this is happening, the synchronous speed is not matched with the rotor speed, so definitely there should be some vibrations that are presenting, and that vibrations will call it as a hunting phenomena, and this will cause us the hunting problem. It will cause us the hunting. It will causes the hunting problems. It will causes hunting problem. So as I told you, because of this synchronous speed is not matching to the rotor speed, so then it will cause us the hunting problem. So and the disadvantage, so this is the motor drawback, the motor may exhibit hunting. So motor may exhibit the hunting. Motor may exhibit the hunting problem. So this is can be unstable for large transients. Unstable for large transients. Unstable for large transients. So this is the problem. These are the drawbacks and the disadvantages of this true synchronous model. So how to develop this true synchronous model? So let us see here. If you take the three-phase supply, okay, so this is a three-phase supply. Three-phase supply, and this three-phase supply, let us see, this is the controlled rectifier. This block is controlled rectifier. Let us assume this is a semi-controlled rectifier. Semi-controlled rectifier. And then this output of the semi-controlled rectifier is a DC, and then this can be filtered by a filter network. So this is the filter network. And then the LC filter here. So then after that it will goes to the output of this LC filter. So let us assume that this voltage is VDC, and then after this will goes to the voltage source inverter. So this is voltage source inverter, because as I informed you, the constant supply frequency, independent supply frequency. So VSI, and then the output of the VSI goes to the synchronous motor. Maybe it is a multiple synchronous motors are controlled. So these are the synchronous missions. So these are the synchronous mission 1, synchronous mission 2, and synchronous mission 3. So this is the general condition or general block diagram of a true synchronous model. So let us see here. In case of this true synchronous model, we cannot apply a step variation of frequency. If you apply the step variation of frequency, it will not respond. Your rotor speed will not respond properly. So that's why what you are doing is you are applying some gradual increasing of supply frequency. So let us see. So this is my okay. So here the commands frequency. Let us see this particular. Let us consider here. This is the reference frequency, and this reference frequency is going to the delay circuit. So this is delay circuit. Because, for example, what we will do here is, if it is a step response, it is not possible. So then what you have to do, so you may convert this delay circuit like this. It is slowly increasing, like slowly increasing, linearly increasing, gradually increasing step by step, like that. So then here, if you see this one, it is a step variation. It's not possible. If you apply the step variation of supply frequency from 0 to 50 hertz, it's not possible, because your rotor will be unstable. What you have to do is you may apply some incremental variation of the frequency, and then it will again, and this will go to the supply frequency F. So for the corresponding frequency, okay, for this frequency, you have to find out, you have to maintain the V by F ratio is constant. So for this frequency, again, it will go to the voltage module. So this is a function generator here, and this is a function generator block. This is function generator. According to this frequency, the function generator will give the voltage. So this is the function generator block, and this function generator block will be like this. And then this function generator will give the reference voltage. This will give the reference voltage V star. And then this V star will goes to the triggering circuit. This is triggering circuit, and then the firing angle is given. So this is triggering circuit. So try to understand here. So this is the reference speed, and the reference speed is a step response. So then it is not possible. The frequency is drastically changing from 0 to 50 hertz. But the drastic change in the supply frequency, your motor is not designed to change the step variation of frequency. So in order to minimize that, what you are doing is you are providing some delay circuit, and that delay circuit is the function of the delay circuit is, so it is gradually increasing. Step by step the frequency is increasing. Okay, maybe then this delay circuit is providing the frequency F. Okay, and then this frequency is going to the voltage source inverter. And this voltage source inverter function is, we need variable frequency as well as voltage. So how we will get for this variation of frequency? Again, you need to maintain the voltage, because to maintain the V by F ratio as a constant. So according this frequency is generating the voltage. So how we are generating? Through the function generator. This is a function generator block. And then this voltage, according to the voltage requirement, okay, according to this voltage requirement, so the firing angle will be triggered here. So this firing angle alpha is going to the semi-controlled rectifier. As your firing angle alpha is increasing, as your firing angle alpha value is increasing, the output voltage will be decreases. The output voltage of the semi-converter, this is VDC, this voltage is reducing. So based on that, you are controlling this true synchronous motor. This is the control block diagram of a true synchronous motor. So this multi-mission, so not only one particular mission, so you have to control number of synchronous motors here. So this is about your true synchronous motor. So let us, this voltage source inverter is nothing but as a sine PWM technique. So this is a sine PWM voltage source inverter. So this is a sine PWM voltage source inverter. The next one is, so now we will discuss about self-controlled mode. Okay, self-synchronous model. Okay, this is true synchronous model. And next concept is self-controlled mode. So next concept is self-controlled. Self-controlled model. It is self-synchronous model. Okay, so in this case, the stator frequency is not independent of the rotor frequency. So here, in this particular, in the self-controlled mode, stator frequency is not independent of rotor frequency. So stator frequency is not independent of rotor frequency. The stator frequency is decided by the rotor speed. So the meaning of this one is, the stator frequency is decided by the rotor speed. Rotor speed. So this is the self-controlled model. In self-controlled model, the stator frequency is decided by the rotor speed, and the stator frequency is independent of the rotor frequency. Okay. Hence, in self-controlled mode, we require some rotor encoder. Okay, because what here, the rotor frequency is decided by the stator frequency is decided by the rotor speed. So to find out the rotor speed, so we need some rotor encoder or rotor sensor. So hence there is a rotor position. There is a rotor position feedback. So it means encoder. It requires some encoder. So in case of self-controlled mode, the stator frequency is decided by the rotor speed. To find out the rotor position or rotor speed, we need some rotor position feedback. We need some rotor position feedback or rotor encoder. So here the advantage of this particular model is self-controlled model. So it is preventing, because in the earlier condition, the true synchronous model, a hunting phenomena is presenting here. But in self-controlled model, the hunting phenomena is completely eliminated, because whatever the rotor speed and stator speed, both are the synchronous speed and your rotor speed are equal. So if the synchronous speed and rotor speeds are equal, then there should no hunting phenomena. There should no oscillations in the rotor circuit. Try to understand this. What I am doing here is the stator frequency is decided by the rotor speed. Based on the rotor speed, once the stator frequency changes, thereby the stator speed will also changes. So the stator speed as well as rotor speed will be equal. So once the stator speed and rotor speed will be equal, definitely the hunting phenomena will be eliminated here, and you are preventing the hunting phenomena here. So that is the advantage here. So the advantage of this one is hunting is prevented. Hunting is prevented. Hunting will not present here. And does not fall, and second one is does not fall out of step. Does not fall out of step. So this can be, and the next one is can be applicable for variable speed applications. Can be applicable for variable speed applications. So this can be suitable for variable speed applications. So this is variable speed applications. So how you need to develop the self-controlled synchronous model? So how you develop the self-controlled synchronous model? As I already explained, the true synchronous model, the voltage source, it is controlled from the voltage source of independent frequency. But in this case, so in order to achieve the self-controlled model, you need to develop the CSI fed synchronous motor drive. So how you develop is CSI fed synchronous motor. So to achieve the self-controlled model, to understand the self-controlled model, so what I am using is CSI fed synchronous motor drive. So on this CSI fed synchronous motor drive is suitable for high power applications. So this is suitable for high power applications. So how it is suitable for high power applications? Let us will discuss about this. So you may consider, so as I discussed in the true synchronous model also, in the similar fashion you may discuss, considering a three-phase supply, and then this three-phase supply is going to the controller. Okay, this is the control rectifier. So let us see, this is the converter. This is converter. And then this converter, because of the CSI, you connect as some large inductor here. Okay, so this large inductor, the purpose of this inductor is the current approximately constant. So the current will be approximately constant here. And this inductor has some internal resistance, and that resistance is RDC. The inductor resistance is RDC. The purpose of this inductor is to maintain the constant, approximately constant current. To maintain approximately constant current. Inductor. And after this, it is going to the CSI. So I'm going to that. This is a CSI, current source inverter. Current source inverter. And this current source inverter is commutated by forced commutation devices. This current source inverter is commutated by forced commutation. I think you know the forced commutation circuit, you need inductor as well as capacitor. Some charging, some energy storing elements we require. Because as in our power electronics concept, I think you know the commutation circuit, class A, class B, class C, class D and class E. Okay, so the commutation, we are using the CSI fed induction synchronous motor drive, and this is a forced commutation current source inverter. Okay, and then after that, so the output will goes to the synchronous motor. Will goes to synchronous motor. So this is, and the currents are, this is IA, IB and IC. Because the CSI, the three-phase currents IA, IB, IC. So as from this, because this is the wound, this is the synchronous motor, and it is excited by, and this is excited by the field, separately field excitation. This is the field, so the field current is IF here. Okay, so this is wound. This is a wound motor, synchronous motor. Okay, and then what you need to do as from this statement, the self-controlled mode. So the stator frequency is decided by the rotor speed. So therefore we require as a rotor position feedback. So to find out this, so I am considering here. So this is the encoder, the rotor speed sensor, rotor speed feedback. So this is a encoder, and then this encoder. Again here, what I am doing here is, so this is coming here, and this encoder is giving the angle theta r. So what is the meaning of this theta r? So theta r is the rotor position. Is the rotor position angle. Rotor position angle to determine the phase angle of the rotor. Why you are using? So to determine the phase angle of the rotor. Theta r is the rotor position angle. So how you are getting? So from the synchronous motor rotor, so we are getting the encoder here, speed encoder, and then this is giving us the theta r. So this theta r is coming here plus, and I am adding some angle pi by 2 here. So I will let you explain why I am adding the pi by 2 angle here. And another angle, so this is a gamma. So this angle is gamma here. So let us see gamma, and here this is going, that is theta r plus pi by 2 plus gamma. So this is going to the voltage source inverter. So why I am adding this gamma and pi by 2? These two angles are I am adding here. So theta r plus pi by 2 plus gamma is going to the voltage source inverter. To maintain the stator frequency is decided by the rotor speed. So why this gamma is added and pi by 2 is also added, I will explain. So this is a DC link. So here this is DC link here, and in this case in the converter, so this is a converter, the phase control rectifier, and here in this phase control rectifier both voltage as well as firing angle. So when you control the firing angle, so thereby the voltage is controlled. So the controlled voltage is, this is the VR. So rectifier controlled voltage is going. So VR star and alpha is going here. So let us see. So this voltage is rectifier voltage V suffix R, and this is a V suffix I inverter voltage. And the current here I am considering here, the current is II, you may consider. So this is current II value. So if you apply the Kirchhoff voltage law in this particular loop, so from the Kirchhoff voltage law, so VR is equal to, voltage in this circuit is equal to, voltage VR is equal to, so the voltage drop in the large inductor, that is RDC into II plus into voltage of the voltage source inverter V. This current is I. You may consider this is I. So by applying the Kirchhoff voltage law, so I will explain. So why you are adding this gamma, some the phasor diagram I will explain this gamma as well as pi by 2. So this is the self-controlled mode, self-controlled synchronous model. So in the self-controlled synchronous model, how you are achieving the self-controlled synchronous model? By using CSI-fed synchronous motor drive. So this CSI-fed synchronous motor drive is a forced commutation device. Okay, so just you apply the KVL, this particular loop. So VR is equal to RDC into II into V into I. So if you multiply this equation both sides in current II, so then you will get VR into II is equal to RDC into II square plus VI into I. VI into I. So from this equation, so I would like to write down the expression for VI into IA. So this VI into IA is the input power to the current source inverter. So VI into IA is equal to, so VR into II minus RDC into IA square. RDC into IA square. So this VI into IA, so let us see here, VI into IA. So this is VI into IA is the input power. So this is input power. Okay. So VR is the controlled by the firing line. How you are getting this VR? So this VR, okay, I already mentioned here, this is VR. So VR. So the VR is controlled. VR is controlled by controlling firing angle alpha. By controlling the firing angle alpha. And VI, and this VI, okay, VI is the inverter input voltage. Inverter input voltage. Okay, and this, the inverter input voltage is equal to VR into II minus RDC into IA square. And that is equal to, the inverter input voltage is equal to 3 into VA into IA into cos theta. Cos theta. So cos theta is the motor power factor angle. Cos theta is motor power factor angle. So cos theta is the motor power factor angle. So this is motor power factor angle. And VA and IA. So VA is the per phase voltage. So VA is per phase voltage and IA is per phase current. Per phase current. So this is the power balance equation. So this VI into II is equal to VR into II minus RDC into IA square is equal to 3 into VA into IA into cos theta. And this equation is a power balance equation. This is a power balance equation. So the power balance equation. So from this, let us further discussing this with some phasor diagram. So as from the synchronous motor, the voltage, armature voltage VA is equal to EF vector, the field voltage induced EMF in the field circuit, plus J into IA into XS synchronous reactance plus IA RA. So IA is the vector here. So the armature voltage of a synchronous motor is equal to EF plus J into IA into XS plus IA into RA. So how we will represent this equation in the phasor diagram model. So I will discuss about this in the phasor diagram model. So here EF is the induced EMF. EF is induced EMF in the Q axis. IA is the armature current. So let us consider here. So this is the direct axis. So this is D axis and this is Q axis and this is the field winding. So this is a field winding and this angle is 90 degrees, 5 by 2. So this in the direct axis, the field current. So this is a component of field current. IF is existing. Field current IF is existing. And this is, for example, this is the stationary, the phase A reference. And this angle, phase A reference to the direct axis current IF is nothing but as a gamma. This angle is, this is the rotor angle theta R. Understand this? This is the rotor angle theta R. So I already discussed the rotor position angles theta R to determine the phase angle of the rotor. So this is theta R. Okay. And in the direct axis, the field current is existing, and in the quadrature axis, the induced EMF, the field induced voltage, that field induced voltage is EF. Field induced EMF is existing. So from this equation, VA is equal to EF plus J into IA XS plus IA RE. So let us consider, so the current, armature current, so this is an armature current, so this is an armature current IA, and the angle with respect to this armature current, okay, and this is a gamma. Our angle between field induced EMF and armature current is a gamma. So what you are doing to find out the voltage, armature voltage. Armature voltage is a phasor sum of the induced field EMF plus IA excess synchronous reactance drop plus armature reactance drop. So you need to add the synchronous reactance drop. This is J into IA into excess synchronous reactance drop. And in the armature, so if you see here, armature current in this direction, so this is IA RA drop. So if you add all these things, so then you will get the voltage VA. So I think let us see here. So this angle, this case IA into RA, and this is a voltage VA, and this current is IA. Okay, so here the angle between VA and IA is a power factor angle theta. The angle between VA and IA per phase voltage and per phase current, the angle between these two is the power factor angle theta. Okay, and the angle between field induced EMF in the field circuit or induced EMF in the quadrature axis to the armature current, this angle is a gamma. This angle is gamma. This is gamma here. So that's why to identify, so you see, you can understand here the phase angle of the current, phase angle, so phase angle of current here, phase angle of current with respect to stationary phase A, stationary phase A, stationary phase A axis, stationary phase A axis. This is the phase A, stationary reference frame axis. The phase angle between current, so current in the sense IA, the phase angle of current IA with respect to the stationary phase axis. So what is the angle current IA? So theta R plus pi by 2 plus gamma here, plus gamma. So that's why I already explained in this case here. So what you are doing, you are adding the pi by 2 and gamma and also rotor position angle theta R, and this is going to the CSI fed induction motor, CSI fed inverter, current source inverter, and then this is giving a three-phase current, so thereby you are controlling the synchronous motor. So try to understand why you are adding theta R plus pi by 2 plus gamma, because the phase angle of the current with respect to the phase A axis, with respect to the stationary phase A axis is this one. That is equal to theta R plus pi by 2 plus gamma. Okay, so from this equation, so you try to understand here. So now I would like to write down the component VA into cos theta. So what is the magnitude of VA into cos theta? So from this phasor diagram, so this is VA cos theta is equal to EF into cos gamma. This is angle is gamma, cos gamma plus IARA drop, So why I am writing this formula VA into cos theta is equal to, I am writing the component of VA into cos theta here is equal to the induced field voltage in the angle of cos gamma plus IA into RA. So as you know that VA into IA is equal to, VA into IA is equal to, so the input, okay, input power to the voltage source inverter. So this is the input power to the voltage source, input power to the current source inverter. So this is input power is equal to VR into II minus RDC into II square is equal to 3 into VA into IA into cos theta. 3 into, this is the power balance equation, VA into IA into cos theta. So again simplifying this expression. So now just I am replacing this VA into cos theta. So VA into cos theta is EF into cos gamma into IA into RA. So from this equation, VR into II minus RDC into IA square is equal to 3 into IA because VI cos theta. So VI cos theta is field induced EMF into cos gamma plus IA into RA. Okay, so now what is the IA here? IA is equal to motor fundamental component RMS value of motor fundamental component of current, and II is equal to DC link current. Because IA is the DC link current, IA is RMS value of the motor fundamental component current. So now let's see here what is the RMS value of fundamental component of current. So as you observe the current waveform of output current waveform of CSI fed synchronous motor drive, current waveform of CSI fed synchronous motor drive. So it should be like this. Just we have to follow this. So this is an output waveform. So this is output waveform. Output waveform of CSI, current source inverter. So in this current source inverter, okay, this is 120 degrees, and this is also 120 degrees, and this is 60 degrees. So this is 60 degrees, and this is the fundamental component of current. This is fundamental. Okay, and this is IA, and this is II. II is DC link current. Okay, so this is with respect to time. So from this equation, if you apply the Fourier series to that waveform, by applying the Fourier series, the motor fundamental component of current, IA, RMS value of motor fundamental component of current is equal to 1 by root 2 into 4 into II by pi cos 30 degrees. So just I am applying the Fourier series for that waveform. So based on that, so if you simplify this, 2 root 2 by pi II into cos 30 is root 3 by 2. Cos 30 is root 3 by 2. So if you simplify this, that is root 6 by pi IA. Root 6 by pi IA. So this is IA is equal to root 6 by pi IA. So again, if you represent this R, IA, inverter DC link. So the DC link current, IA is equal to pi by root 6 into IA. Okay, so now what you need to do is, so this II, so substitute II value in this particular equation. So now you replace this II is replaced by pi by root 6 into IA. So then that equation is, so VR into IA. IA is pi by root 6 into IA minus RDC into II square. So II square in the sense pi square by 6 into IA square is equal to 3 into IA, okay, into EF into cos gamma plus IA into RE. So now this complete equation is in terms of your fundamental component of motor current. So the complete equation is now in terms of fundamental component of current. So now you need to develop the DC equivalent circuit for this CSI drive. Okay, CSI for synchronous motor drive. So what you need to do is, why you are representing these things are, so you need to develop the steady state equivalent circuit for that. So if you further simplify this equation, so what you need to get here is, so try to simplify this. Okay, so here 3 into IA. So now this 3 into IA is divided in this equation, both the right hand side and left hand side. So then you will get pi divided by 3 into root 6 into IA. IA is already cancelled, so VR minus, simplifying that, just we are forwarding this, so is equal to EF into cos gamma plus IA into RA plus pi square by 18. So because it's 3 into 6, 18 into RDC. This is a DC equation. So this equation is DC equation. All the terms are in DC quantities. Okay, so now the steady state equivalent circuit. So how you are representing this? So this is a voltage source, right? And this is also voltage source. So what you need to develop is, so the DC equivalent circuit, so plus and minus, and here is pi by 3 into root 6 VR, and so resistance, this is RA plus, so this RA component, and again RDC is there, so this is RDC, it is pi square by 18 into RDC, and the current is IA, and again voltage source, this is plus and minus, that is EF into cos gamma, This is steady state equivalent circuit. So this is a steady state equivalent circuit. So this circuit is steady state equivalent circuit. Per phase equivalent circuit, R per phase equivalent circuit. So this is a per phase equivalent circuit. So from this equation, this steady state equation, so what I am doing is, my objective is the synchronous motor is also, now I'm converting the synchronous motor parameters into a DC motor parameters.
So how to control synchronous motor also like as a DC motor? So that's why I am doing this. So now you need to calculate the gross mechanical power developed in this equation, this circuit. So the gross mechanical power developed, okay. So from after this it will goes to the gross mechanical power developed. So the gross mechanical power developed, I am erasing this. Gross mechanical power developed or total P mechanical, gross mechanical power developed is equal to, the formula is 3 into IA into the induced EMF, that is VA. So that is EF into cos gamma. This is induced EMF. This component is induced EMF. EF into cos gamma is induced EMF. So as you know that the torque developed TE is equal to P mechanical by omega R. Omega Rm. So this omega Rm is mechanical speed. This is mechanical speed. So that is equal to P by 2 into P mechanical divided by omega Re electrical. Omega Re is the electrical. So it is multiplied 3 by 2. Okay, 2 by P. So just I am converting mechanical speed and electrical speed. Omega Re is the electrical speed and omega Rm is the mechanical speed. So P by 2 into P mechanical by omega Re. So if you simplify this, P by 2 into, so P mechanical is 3 into IA into EF into cos gamma divided by this omega R. Omega R. So from this equation, again, if you further simplify that, the torque, electromagnetic torque developed in the motor is equal to 3 into P by 2 into IA into IA into, okay, lambda AF into omega Re, lambda AF into omega Re into cos gamma divided by omega Re. Omega R. Since EF is equal to lambda AF into omega Re. The induced EMF in the DC circuit is directly proportional to omega Re. So EF is equal to lambda AF into omega Re. So that's why I am replacing this. Okay. So the torque equation, so you may assume, so this is assumed that EF is equal to lambda AF into omega Re. Just like as this is a synchronous motion, synchronous motor, a synchronous mission. So like your induced EMF in a DC generator, the induced EMF in the DC generator, EZ is equal to, what you are doing, EZ is equal to pi Zn by 60 into P by A. So this is pi Zn by 60 into P by A. So here Eg is directly proportional to N. This N is nothing but as a speed omega R or omega M. So Eg is directly proportional to omega R. So this proportional Eg is equal to some K into omega R. So this is the DC motor, this DC generator or DC mission equivalent. And similarly, in your synchronous mission, the EF is equal to lambda AF into omega Re. Okay, so now, so the torque equation T is equal to 3 into P by 2 into IA lambda AF is the flux linkages, lambda AF into cos gamma. This is the cos gamma. So this is the torque equation of synchronous motor. And this torque equation of synchronous motion is also analogous to the torque equation of your DC motor. So what is the torque equation of DC motor? The torque equation of DC motor is equal to some constant K into IF into IA. So similarly, this is also, here you see, this is the field component and this is the armature component, this is the constant term. Okay, so this is the DC motion torque equation and this is synchronous motion torque equation. Okay, now what I am doing, why I am doing all these calculations, my objective is very clear. So I need to develop the synchronous motion is also equivalent to the DC motor. So for that, when I am making this equivalent, so then the vector control of synchronous motor is also possible. Vector control of synchronous motor is also possible. So to achieve that, so what I have to do here, okay, if gamma is equal to 0, to get maximum torque here, the synchronous motor, okay, to get the maximum torque in the synchronous motor, if condition is if gamma is equal to 0. If gamma is equal to 0, then the torque equation is equal to 3 into P by 2 into IA into lambda AF. IA into lambda AF. And this is now exactly to your DC motor equation. This is exactly equal to your DC motor torque equation. So in brackets, similar to that of separately excited DC motor. This is similar to DC separately excited DC motion. Separately excited DC. This equation is similar to that of separately excited DC motor. So what you do is the field current. If field current is constant, so lambda AF is constant. If field current is constant, so that lambda AF is also constant. If lambda AF is constant, so then if you vary the armature current, so the torque of the synchronous motion is also controlled. The torque of the synchronous armature current, if you vary the armature current, so that the torque of the synchronous motor is also controlled. So this is about the synchronous motor or synchronous motion is equivalent to that your DC, separately excited DC motor. So this is a forced commutation current source inverter. So now what you do is, instead of using the forced commutation devices, I will use the load commutated device. So if I will use the load commutation device, so then I will get the leading power factor. So in the next class I will explain this. Thank you.